Right. Can you turn off the light or can you read it properly? Maybe to turn off the light or can you read properly? Okay. So who was here last year at Clark? One here. Okay, just one. Okay, so you probably didn't hear this talk last year. No, you didn't. Okay, cool. So I have a couple of slides about what happened since last year, but that will still be interesting for people here. Who among you heard of Hyperkitty already? Yeah, that's good. Okay, all right. For those who don't, Hyperkitty is the name of the next web-based archiver for Mailman. So you probably all know what Mailman is, right? First, I'll introduce you. I'm Aurelien Bompard. It's a name that is kind of hard to pronounce for English speakers, so don't worry about it. Aurelien is fine. I'm based in France. I got my fame for dancing for daring to dance with Tosha Terroristas that you probably missed last year if you were not at FLAC, but that's gonna be reproducible. And I've been in the Fedora project since its beginning. I mean, since even before it was called Fedora, when it was an add-on for Red Hat 9 at that time. And I'm in the Fedora engineering team since 2 years ago. I've been working with Hyperkitty since, and I'm trying to fix the mailing list problem that we all agree to have. So this is what we're going to talk about. First, I will start with Mailman. You probably all use mailing lists in the Fedora project. People don't here? Probably not, otherwise you would not be here. You know that Mailman 2 is getting kind of old. It's a maintenance branch that has been updated once a year, about once a year since 2006. So it's getting a bit old. It's a very monolithic package from a development point of view. It has a mailing list engine that sends email. It has a web archiver built in, and it has a web admin interface that you can administrate the lists with. And the problem is Hypermail, the web archiver, generates static HTML, which was good enough in the 90s. The admin interface is CGI based and it generates configuration files, which is a security problem, and it plays very, very badly with Linux, for example. And it's different environments. There's SMTP, there's HTTP, the web technologies. So the people who master SMTP and the problems of the mail world do not necessarily understand or know the problems of the web world very well. So it's different people. Mainline 3, it's much more modular design. What you will be happy to learn is that there is no more email sent once a month with all your participation in lists. So, yay! It does not store passwords in plain text anymore. Yeah, welcome to this new world. It has a REST API, it's very extendable, so it's very easy to work with. The problem is it's not yet out. It was supposed to be out about, well, 2 years ago. And there's a very few features that are needed or bugs that need to be fixed, but it's on a constantly renewable cycle. So it's always, oh, we have these 3 bugs to be fixed, to fix, and we'll fix them, and then another one comes out, another one comes out. Right? So yeah. It's taking long, way longer than we'd like. So Hyperkitty, what it is, it's an archival plugin for Mailman 3. So the reason for it is that the people at Mailman decided that they don't really understand the problems of the web, of the modern web, very well. So they'd rather have somebody else do everything that is web related, and they concentrate on the SMTP part and dealing with the responses, the spam problems that we have today, etc., etc. So they said that they're going to remove completely the web archiver from Mailman and let other people do it. And since we use Mailman a lot, we decided that we need this part, and so so we started coding Hyperkitty. It's composed of two parts. There is the storage engine, which is called Kitty Store, and that is an interface where the mail will be stored, so you can access it from Hyperkitty, of course, the web interface, but also from different other programs, maybe, I don't know, an NMTP server or something like this. And then there's Hyperkitty, the web UI. It's based on Django. It interfaces with Kitty Store, of course, and there are some specs that it adheres to, and some mockups that it's trying to implement. If you followed Marine's blog, she made a lot of mockups about Hyperkitty, which are very interesting, so we try to implement that. A year ago, I was introducing Hyperkitty at Flock, and there's been quite some changing since. There's been PyCon first. PyCon is an annual conference for the Python language, so it was a chance to meet up with the devs, the mainland 3 devs. They are all working on their day job on all the projects, so that's why it's not as fast as it could be. But when we were all together in the same room, we found a way to, well, it was way faster. I got a few pull requests merged, especially concerning migrations, which will be very important for us in Fedora, since we have hundreds of lists. And we created a new package, it's like a glorified script actually, that installs Mailman and Hyperkitty and its administration interface called Posterius on the same server with compatible configuration files. So that makes it very easy to test Mailman. And we published the first beta because Mailman was in alpha before that. There's been the Summer of Code, which do not concern Hyperkitty a lot. And there's been not much activity during the year except at Python. I mean, some of it, but not a lot. So Mailman, the status of Mailman now is it's ready. It has a few bugs, but not critical bugs. It works correctly, but the admin UI it still has some bugs that need to be fixed and features that are missing. But for the Fedora project, it's not really a big deal because we can in the infrastructure team we can use the command line interface anyway, so that'll be proud of us. The work on Hyperkitty has been concentrated on packaging, maybe, making sysadmin happy, as I say. RPM, the limit support, a way to migrate easily from versions to the next. Automation of the deployments using Ansible, as everything we do in the infrastructure team. We've been working on the Mailman bundle package, so that already talked about that. And there's been mainly fixes in stability, in tests, functional tests, all that stuff. A few optimization about that. Yeah. One of the main new features that has happened since last year is the new UI, which has been developed by Karen Tang. I don't know if she's here yet. She did a talk about user interface right before this one on another room, so she probably did. The new UI is based on Bootstrap 3. So Bootstrap 3 makes the mobile view first, give the mobile view first to the users, and then we can elaborate on that. So we have a mobile view for the web interface to mailings. That is interesting. You will be able to read all your frameworks with your mobile phone now, which is good. It uses less the CSS preprocessor to create the files, so that's easier to maintain for us. A lot of improvements, just fonts for icons and everything. So, Karen comes from she was recruited by Maureen for the outreach program for women, mentored by Maureen. It's not exactly, it's in the repo, it's merged in the repo, but it's not the main line yet because there are a few pages that need to be converted yet. So, but it will happen. That's what it looks like. You have the, it's not very readable, but okay, I guess it's okay. For those who don't know Hyperkitty, you have a, where is my cursor? You have an overview of the activity in the list, so you can know if it's a very high traffic mailing list or a very low one. And you can sort by most active, most popular, newest lists. You can search the archive, or you can filter the list names, all this sort of stuff. That's the main page. And that's the page that will be displayed on the computer. And if you look at it on the phone, it will, the sorting will collapse into a Dropbox here. You will have a filter here, or everything is more condensed or presented differently so that it fits your view. In Fedora, so we have started deploying Hyperkitty in Fedora. We have 4 servers which are now deployed. The development server, but that's not very interesting. A staging server which holds a mirror to the current mailing list. I'll give you the URL afterwards so you can test it. We have 2 production servers that are ready to be deployed. I mean, that are deployed but are currently only have test mailing lists. And we'll hold the actual mailing list when we migrate. The deployment methods are only RPMs because that's what we use in the infrastructure. Everything must be RPM, must be deployed as RPMs, and Ansible receipts for the orchestration. The staging server, that's the URL you can look at if you want. It mirrors the mailing list, and it's a good way for you to test Hyperkitty. It's actually plugged into the mailing list, the current mailing list that we have, so if you want to look at it. The synchronization between the two is manual. It's not automatic yet because, well, it has security issues to connect those 2 servers that we have not fixed yet, but we will. It's currently manual, so I do this every 2 days, maybe something like this. So it can be a bit early, but not that much. And the production servers are ready. We have a test mainline 3 list, and then we will migrate lists one by one to the new servers, and it should be transparent for you. So where we are going from now, from there. Our main problem is that mainline 3 is not out, so we need this to be released, and we have been working a lot on that this past month because that's what really is blocking us. It will work for us in Fedora, but it's not very, well, it's okay for us to try new technologies that are not released yet, but it would be better if people were actually creating momentum behind mainline 3, and that's not going to happen until it's out. Plus we have a couple of patches that are not yet merged, so it's not very easy to install for other people. I recently learned that the mainline 3 people are yet again considering another critical bug that needs to be fixed before release, and it's a big one. It's something concerning the ORM, so the object relational model and connection to the database. So it may delay the release again. It's not very clear at the moment. Oh well. And there's work to be done on the bundler too, so it can be installed in any kind of environment. So the component that installs Hyperkitty and posters at the same time. And it's always need to be kept updated because it's moved fast. About Hyperkitty, we need to finish the new UI. So I told you there is a couple of pages that need to be migrated. Well, that should be done quickly, and Karen is very good with that, so it should be done. The usage of less is sort of problematic because it's written in JavaScript, so it runs on Node.js, and that's something that is kind of hard to package, as you probably know if you do packaging. And it's moving very fast, so yeah, I would like not to have to install yet another web server on the computer just to compile CSS files, but we'll do what we can. There are a couple of features that will require an asynchronous task system. For example, people have been requesting that we bring back the possibility to download the entire archive for a mailing list. That's something that exists in mainline 2. It's currently not in mainline 3 because it's something that will load the server, that will create a big load on the server. We have to recreate the inbox files, and we have thousands of emails, so So we will need something more, a bit more advanced, but it will be done. And we need testing. We need a lot of testing. I'm going to prepare Docker images so it can be easier to install and test. But if you guys want to test it, that would be useful. So, that's our plan for migration in Fedora, is to move lists from the old servers to the new one at a time. Everything should be ready to do that. We just are rolling out a few bugs that are left. And that's about it. So, if you guys want to help, I will be very happy, and we will be able to test what we are going to use on a daily basis as mailing lists in the Fedora project. What we need for that is people who are ready to test mailing lists. If some guys here are very familiar with Django, it's always interesting to have external eyes look at the code and see where I'm doing things wrong. Yep. Oh, you raise your hand because you're interested. Cool. Yes. And Kitty Store, so the backend, has the ability to run stuff when email arrives. So that's where we can do very interesting things like statistical analysis, create metrics, maybe try to detect not spam but flame wars, maybe something like this. There are very common patterns in flame wars, in like two people replying to each other for tens of emails. That's something that happens often. And that's something that we could detect and flag maybe in the interface. So there's plenty of things to do with email and mailing lists. So and those things here are rather self-contained and independent. So if someone wants to work on it on a separate, independently, that would be easy to do. And if people are interested in working on the maintenance suite, it's really a beautiful piece of code. There are really the new architecture is very interesting. It has been featured in a book called The Architecture of Open Source Applications. So it's really something that is done by someone who knows what it does. That's cool. If you want to work on it, it could use somehow. And ADIE actually, if you have good ideas of stuff that would save your day when you use mailing lists, that would be interesting too. So the staging version, the URL is here. You can write that down. We are hosted on Fedora hosted, so you can report those here. The code is actually on GitHub. It's been on GitHub for a couple of months, and you can read the docs to install it if you want. So, before I jump into the demo, Mailman 3, so that's the summary. Mailman 3 will arrive, but we don't really know when. We stopped waiting for it a few months ago, a few years ago. Hyperkitty is the only archiver, not the only one, but the only web archiver that will work with Mailman 3 out of the box. Mailman 3 ships with, by default, it ships with 3 archivers. One that creates local inbox files, major files, so managers, and 2 that will forward the email to like mailarchive.com and another one. So nothing that is really independent and a web archiver per se, eventually for private lists or for independent lists. It's been designed by people in the Fedora community, mostly Aurelien and Karen too. So that's been designed by us, but it will be useful for everyone. So I expect that once it's out, people will be using it a lot. That's the kind of thing that you may find in every open source project afterwards. So it's very interesting. One of the key design points was to bridge the gap between mailing lists and web forums. So, because as you know, our developers use a lot of mailing lists because they work in the dynamic client and switch to a terminal to do their work. But users usually do use web forums, so those two communities don't talk to each other, and that's a shame. That it's a problem we're trying to fix. And we're trying to give better context around mailing lists, like is it a high traffic mailing list? Is it something that if I subscribe to, I will have hundreds of mail to receive? Is it something that is inactive, that has been dead? Is it something that is related to translation in such language, for example? We are trying to give a better signal to notation. And there will be a Hackfest this year. So if you're available Friday at 5 p.m., we'll be on this room. Please come and I will show you how to get started on that and where to check out the code and what you can do to create your first batch. So feel free to come. And if you, maybe before the questions, I'll show you, or if you have questions, I'll take questions now, and if you have no, well, when you're done with questions, I'll just show you the interface and you can ask questions live. Yes?
You are saying that it is mobile first?
Yes.
So I open it, my mobile, it doesn't look like much. Like
oh yeah, that's because the new UI is not yet in production on the server here, because we have a couple of pages to fix yet. It's actually I'll show you another URL so you can look at the mobile page. But it's not yet in the main page. Yes.
I always wanted to have a header in the email from mailing list which contains link to the archive, so I don't need to dig into the web interface just to find out the link to the archive.
Yes.
Is it possible to do something like that?
Sure. Currently, I think that there is an email to. Oh no, there is an email to the mailing list page, the front mailing list page, at the footer of emails that is sent by mailman. In this version, we will insert a link. There is a link at the bottom of emails that will link directly to the email, so you can view it online and view the whole thread. And so, yeah, that's entirely possible. It's one of the designs in the spec for the archivers being compatible with MyMac. So that was very thought of beforehand. So yeah, that could be possible. And done already, actually. Okay, so if you have no more questions, I'll go to the website. Yeah, this works. So that's how it looks like. That's the current UI. So you have on the front page you have the list of lists, which is something that is going to be redesigned to create more grouping, by categories. I just committed, by the way, a fix that's sort by popular list first. It's more interesting. So we have the devel list that has a certain number of participants and discussions in it. Let's go for this one, for example. You can add active lists which had no main. Oh, that's not very friendly. Yeah, okay. It shouldn't overflow like that, but oh well. Just a small screen. It's like 10, 24. So yeah, you have different widgets on this page. You have the activity in the last 30 days. You have the recently active discussions, so you can know which discussions create the most activity recently. You have that's the most active discussions in the last 30 days, so you may recognize a few threads. And the most active posters. And you can like or unlike posts. For example, if I go to this system, you can add tags. It tells you quickly for how long this thread has been active. Well, that's me not syncing the server. And you can go to the next red thread or unread thread. Because if you come back to this page and there's been new mail, it will flag them differently so you can know which email to track. You can say, yeah, that's interesting. I like this. Or you can reply directly from the web interface. And type, so locally. I'm not going to do it because it actually replies to the list, so be aware.
Question?
Yes?
Do you do actually something with the likes and dislikes? Does it have some impact?
Currently, it's summed up in your profile page, so you can go back to what you like and what you dislike. It's not doing something else like, well, actually, if you come back to this list here, in the most popular discussions, you will have the one with the most likes here. But it's not doing something more fancy like suggesting you threads or something like that. Yes?
Like a long time ago, before any of this actually got coded, we had brainstormed about using that like and dislike and attaching it as a header to mails so that you could filter out, in your local client, filter out people who have vastly negative scores.
Yes, so that would, an idea with that was to compute some sort of credibility of a poster, or that will be computed from his likes and dislikes, and that can be sent afterward, that can be sent for new mails. Yeah, it's not there yet, of course, but that's one of the things that you could do in
But the problem is, do you dislike with the person or with the idea that is in the email? You know, because it's called dislike, so dislike with both.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem with that actually is something that is very specific to people. And it should be this person, I mean, the person who does the like should be mainly impacted by his thing. I don't know how to explain that, but if I think that you give you make good comments on Python packages, for example, and your post will be relevant to me, but not to someone who is in the design team, for example. So that should only impact what I read. I mean, not only impact what I read, but mostly impact what I read. So, yes?
So one of the problems that I had using this interface for all the kind of +1 stuff and the likes and dislikes is it's not very clear which actions will cause an event to occur on the actual mailing list. Like reply theoretically obviously does, right?
Yes.
But will and I shied away from doing any of that around, you know, likes, dislikes, you know, or to some extent even marking red and that kind of information, because it's not, it would be nice if it was clearer, or even if there was just a help page that kind of said, you know, which of these things will actually cause an event to occur in the mailing list itself.
Like,
so that you, like
so
a like or dislike or...
You're clicking here, but no mail will be sent or something like that.
Yeah, just because, you know, particularly I was using it to read backlogs of stuff, and, you know, I didn't really want to interact with any of it, I just wanted to consume it. And I just found it a little confusing about which of these things, you know, had an effect on anything besides me.
Yes.
You want to know if clicking on like sends an email in +1 to the mailing list.
Yeah, but
that's what you need to know before you click to the button.
Yeah, it does not, by the way.
Well, I figured that out eventually with bad clicking, but you know.
Okay, got it. Yes, sorry.
So when you reply using the web interface, what does the mail look like? What is the quotation used and so on?
Yes. If I go back to, for example, this thing here, it does not have an HTML composer. Okay. It will not for the foreseeable future. If it's just what you write here. If you click on quote here, it will come the email so you can reply to it. But otherwise, it's just what you write. Okay. So it's very basic. Well,
maybe it could automatically scroll to the bottom. So
yes, so you can. So you're attempting to reply first, right? Yeah. To not reply. And if you try to press arrow up, it will run you. Do it.
Log you out.
Yes.
So, can I sort the thread according to likes?
no, that's a good idea. You could, I mean, maybe not sort, but go to the next sort according to likes. But I'm not sure you'd understand who's replying to who.
Well, my point is that when I use Reddit, they have this system that the top post of the top post of a post,
yes,
you could sort them by according to pluses and likes.
Yes, but they're all replying to the same, to the top poster.
So
it will be subthreads. That would be interesting to.
Yeah, it would be like all of the initial respondents.
Yes.
But no,
Like the first level subthreads.
Well, you really have two things there, right? You have sorting of the threads themselves, and then you have sorting within the thread, right? So Reddit style is more like the within the thread, you know. But then it actually also does the thread itself. So the Reddit main page is made up by the most posts of, you know, or likes essentially on, you know, the original post.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you could add a filter like, I don't want to see threads that are negative or something like this. Yes?
It seems like a request for flag this email as solution or something like that. If you have long threads,
Except it's not only problems and solutions. You mean something like support or...
Conceptually, that's
that could be...
better tag to the emails.
Like, we could add something more generic like this email, not as maybe not a solution, but something that you want to keep track of. You can favorite threads, by the way, and you can add that to your favorite discussions, and you will keep track of them in your user profile. Yeah, you have a widget for the list of things in this file. You can show the, by default it shows replies by, you know, subthread, but you can sort them that by date if you just want to see what has been replied since the last time you came, for example.
Just related to my earlier question, another thing that would be nice to know is if which of these things are public. So, you know, favoriting +1, like, all those things are potential endorsements, but sometimes what I want to do is just save it for whatever. So it would also be nice to know which of those things will appear on your profile or be public information.
True, we don't display who liked the post, and the favorites are not public, but you don't know that, so yeah, it should be good. So, I think it's fine with that. Oh, it's in my head. Well, good question, by the way. Yeah.
Just an idea. Will it be possible to ignore a thread, like all future replies or comments?
Yeah, I see. Yes. That's something that is that was planned to do. I mean, in Mailman there was the idea of subscribing not to a mailing list but to a subthread, and the opposite is to ignore a thread. It's not been added to the code. It's in the data. It's in the schema. The database schema supports it, but it's not. The code is not there. It's something that should be handled at the mainline level because it affects what is distributed and what is not. So that's why it should be done. It's not there.
Well, I wasn't really sure if I want to like ignore it, like never send an email, but at least in the web UI, so that it's not really. I imagine that someone might use just the web UI and not really subscribe via email, just use the web UI. So that would be a way how to like hide the thread from future, you know, and you won't see it reappear when someone answers.
Actually, this affecting also the sending of the mails would be really cool. Like you can go to web UI and switch off the thread, and you will receive no more mails to this thread or sub-thread. It would be really great.
But I see those as two separate features. Like, you know, it's somewhat different.
But it could be toggled by the same button in the.
Yeah, but it might be helpful sometimes.
We're trying to keep the main part and the web part as closely related as possible. If we have features in the web UI that we can export to the email sent, we'll do that. And if it's, if we're trying to keep them missing, I mean, not be something completely different, like a forum linked to a mailing list. Yes.
Question just general to the mailman with Hyperkitty communication integration, because I'm not sure I got it right. You talked about Kitty store or Kitty storage?
Oh, Kitty store is a part of. Okay. So you have Mailman, which handles SMTP, and has allows for applications to plug in as its archiver, so to receive the email as they arrive. Hyperkitty is one of those. And it sends, Hyperkitty is made of two components, the web UI and the storage. And the storage is called Kitty Store, and that's the one linked to a big database with all the...
So it is part of the Hyperkitty, not part of Mailman 3?
Yes.
So Mailman 3 by default does not store emails?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
It does not know archiving whatsoever.
Just one more remark. I have a note from Maureen Duffy here on IRC. When we talked about liked threads, she just notes that most liked threads float to the top of the mailing list overview. So,
okay, so that's what we were discussing about.
And we can do the same with categories. So the most liked categories would float to the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I keep asking questions. So I may have missed this, sorry, but is there kind of a plugin architecture for if you want to do more advanced data analysis and present it with web UI?
Not yet. We are before building a plugin architecture. I would like to be sure where it's interesting to be plugged in, so I don't create entry-points for stuff that will never be used. It happened to me in the past. But when we have ideas and we have what is going to be obvious is stuff specific to the Fedora project. For example, at some point we want to display a list of badges on user pages in Mailman, in Hyperkitty, and that is something that is specific to Fedora, so that is something that will be implemented as a plugin, because Hyperkitty is going to be used by a lot of different projects. And if it's, I don't know, data analysis, that should be somewhere in Kitty Store and displayed somewhere in the UI, but we can find the right plugins for the right place to plug stuff. So it's not there yet, but when we have a few of them and we know some places, some things that can be exported to plugins, we'll create them. It's not very hard to do in Python. Just to give you more ideas, go to pages. So when you go to the user profile, you have the list of his subscriptions and posts. First post and the list of posts. In fact, mine is I will get more interesting information, stuff like my favorites here, the thread I have read, if I have to reply to the votes and my subscription. So if you have no more questions, or if you have more questions, just come talk to me, and if you're very interested and want to hack on it, we have a Hackfest, as I said before. That is on Friday, and the room, I don't remember the room by it's should be some
T9 302.
Thank you. Tina in Privilege Council. And this one, yes. And you can reach me at the usual places. We have a mailing list, Hyperkitty demo, of course, it will be Aurelien, which is not extremely used because there are not many people using it. But, so, yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you.